and the NLC to establish a joint committee to review the proposal for any wage increase or award and establish a framework and timeline for implementation. 2, the federal government, the TUC, and the NLC to review World Bank Finance Cash Transfer Scheme and propose inclusion of low-income earners in the program. As you are aware, the $800 million loan did not really capture the low-income government workers. So basically, we'll be talking about how to include them in that scheme. 3, the federal government, the TUC, and the NLC to revive the CNG conversion program earlier agreed with labor centers in 2021 and work out detailed implementation and timing. 4, the labor centers and the federal government to review issues hindering effective delivery in the education sector and propose solutions for implementation. 5, the labor centers and the federal government to review and establish the framework for completion of the rehabilitation of the nation's refineries. 6, the federal government is to provide a framework for the maintenance of roads and expansion of rail networks across the country. All other demands submitted by the TUC, and that's the 7th, all other demands submitted by the TUC to the federal government will be assessed by the joint committee. So consequently, ladies and gentlemen, the parties agreed as follows. 1, the NLC is to suspend the notice of strike forthwith to enable further consultations. 2, the TUC and the NLC to continue the ongoing engagements with the federal government and secure closure on the resolutions above. And finally, the labor centers and the federal government to meet on June 19th, 2023, to agree on an implementation framework.
At this point, can I dare say that subsidy is gone? I know it sounds like me re-echoing what the president said last week Monday, but can I dare say that subsidy is gone? Because if you listen to Gbajabiamila, they had, a 7-point resolution. And then they're supposed to meet June 19, to close on the resolutions made. And they agreed to call off the strike and they agreed to continue negotiations until they're able to arrive at a closure of the resolutions. And does that mean in any way that we're going to continue buying fuel at the current price that we're buying fuel, and there's possibly no reversal? Does it mean that? Any which ways, why I have come in, to have this conversation is to understand how you are understanding, is to understand how you are understanding what Gbajabiamila and the labor unions, the organized labor union, have agreed. Normally, when if you go back 12 years ago, when Goodluck Jonathan tried to remove subsidy as president, one of the major groups that resisted was the labor unions, or the organized labor union. And if they have now come to a resolution where, they have agreed that, certain things will be put in place, to cushion the effect. I've been using the word palliative for some days now. They have put palliatives. For instance, they are talking about increasing minimum wage. We talked about it when we had the big headlines, and TUC is asking for 200,000 naira. They will negotiate and come to, a point where government can afford it. There is to talk about the $800 million. So that loan is still somewhere there. And it was supposed to be for the vulnerable in society, but now there is the conversation of ensuring that, low-income civil servants would also be captured in that $800 million. So there is that conversation. They're also talking about rebuilding the refinery, but government is saying there's nothing we can do about the refinery. I'm not saying it was part of that conversation, but from what we've heard, government is saying, see, Port Harcourt refinery will be ready by the end of the year, and Warri refinery sometime in 2024. So I'm guessing there is nothing much that government can do when it concerns building or rebuilding or refurbishing refineries. There's also the talk about, making our educational sector function properly. I mean, we just finished talking about ASU, so that's been a lingering conversation. It's becoming a sing-song. So yeah, that's there. They also talked about some other thing. I'm trying to remember now. Oh, yeah, the conversion. The conversion, there was a time Timi Silva, former Minister for Petroleum State, was talking about, using gas, natural gas as fuel for cars, for vehicles. And so they also talked about the compressed natural gas conversion program. Remember when they said people to come volunteer their cars and the government will help them get it done? They're also looking at that. They're also looking at how people can move from petrol to using, some kind of gas to fuel cars. They also talked about improved road and rail infrastructure, so some of you can travel via rail. So now, when you look at all these things, it looks like, from surface level, I want to believe, because there's another story that I read later that, that said that Labour is also saying that the government should reverse to the previous pump price. That's 195, 185, I can't remember now. So that, I'm used to the new price. So that, there can be proper negotiations. There can be negotiations from a balanced ground. But that was not captured in Gbajabiamile's speech, as you heard. So could it be that indeed subsidy is gone? And if indeed subsidy is gone, I'm wondering, are you getting ready for life after subsidy? Because it's looking like there is no resistance anymore against the removal of subsidy. Are you ready? I know my guest in the previous conversation said subsidy is a scam and subsidy removal is even a bigger scam. However, with this conversation and with the demands, who's going to fight for Nigerians now? That's if there should be a fight. I'm indifferent about it. I'm one of the people who thinks that subsidy should go, because I can't see why we're paying for subsidy. We should have refineries working. That's my take. I'm not saying they should just wake up and remove subsidy, but I believe refineries should be working. And if removing subsidy now will get our refineries working, then I'm in support of it. However, I think it was done too sudden, and the economic impact is going to be so severe that although we have about 133 million people living in poverty, it is my forecast that more people will drop into that poverty line. But NLC, TUC, and the federal government may be looking at it from a different angle. But what do you make of it? What do you make of it? I'm going to open the phone lines now. I really want to know, what do you make of it? It's looking like the unions are going to accept or are going to go into some agreement with the government. But how are you feeling about that? As the citizen, or as a citizen of Nigeria, who, you're supposed to be on paper, you're supposed to be the employer of the government. How do you feel about this? That's the question I want to ask you. Are you ready for life after removal of subsidy? Because if NLC agrees to the demands made by TUC as submitted to the federal government, then nobody's going to go on strike anymore. Nobody's going to go on strike anymore. But please, when you call in, don't give me that narrative of, they have bought over the labor unions. Let's talk from a place of, how do I put it now? Let's talk for development. I'm tired of using that phrase, but I can think of a better way to put it. Let's talk, in a way where we can learn and we can, impact society. Are you ready for life after subsidy? Do you believe subsidy is gone with the body language or the attitude of the labor unions? I'd like to hear from you. And then when you look at the demand, yesterday we talked about it, but we did not expatiate on the demands made by the TUC, because all that was in the news at the time was that TUC was asking for increase in minimum wage and then for something else again. What was that? Yeah, tax holidays. So now that we know that they're asking for the refineries to work, they're asking for the conversion of natural gas program to work, they're asking for what else again? They have got your demands. What do you make of it? 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. You can call either of the numbers, or better still, you can text me on WhatsApp 0809-030-6416, or you can go on Facebook and drop your comments. We're live in Facebook, and you can see me trying to talk for development. And the handle is Nigeria Info PH, or better still, you can go on Twitter and drop your comments. We're active there, and we're live on YouTube, Nigeria Info PH. You can get us Nigeria Info PH on the 3 platforms. Once again, are you ready for life after the subsidy era? Because it's looking like subsidy is gone, like the president declared. I've got JJ, and it's calling from Rumigbo. JJ, good evening to you.
Yeah, Kalada, good evening.
Yeah. What's on your mind?
When I saw the gra by Labour, I was thinking that they are ready for the challenges ahead. The pump price you are asking for is 189 per litre. Before they finally jumped to 5 something, it was 189.
Okay.
But that said, when I had Labour talking tough, I was like, wow, the vote run is here. But they really disappointed Nigerians and all those put together. I know they will ease that disappointment on the court order gotten by the government and everything. But I was thinking that there should be a smart people that, okay, fine, since you have not increased the salary, you can also tell your people that you don't have transport to come to work and just play around it, and everybody just frustrate the whole system to see how they can just push everything. I don't think the court will challenge them if their workers don't come to work and all those put together. But that said, workings of the refinery, that's one of the conditions. Conversion to gas, loan distribution, improve rail sector, and all those, etc. See, from the price regime that the NMPC, will I call it PLC, whatever, brought out, there's no plans for the refineries to work. This is my own opinion right now.
Okay.
Only Lagos is 488, and if you check it, Ondo, Ogun, and all those put together, they are selling at 500. Then if you move to the areas, you have the refineries in the south here. You will see that we are selling at 511, right? So if there is a provision for the refinery to work early, there would also be provision in the new price regime. Now you ask yourself, Kalada, has anybody come to tell you how much is the landing cost for the petrol we are importing into this country? Do you know, Kalada? Please, if you know, help the world right now. They are listening to you. They need your help right now.
All right.
How much is the landing cost?
I'll find
out.
There
are rumors that the landing cost for this product is about 80 naira. I don't know. I have done imported before, but nobody has been able to tell us. The way it is secret, the salary and allowances of our lawmakers, that's how they keep this secret to their own chest. That is one.
All right,
Before they agree
JJ,
that they want to convert gas.
JJ, I've got to let you go.
Whatever.
JJ, I'm sorry.
Told us, before I go.
I'm sorry, JJ. I've got to let you go because I've got a commercial. because I had to go for the commercial break. But then I'm back. 28 minutes gone past the hour of 5. In about 2 minutes, we would have to bring you the headlines, the news headlines. And after that, I'll go back to the phone lines and ask you what you think. What you think about this issue. I mean, if NLC, TUC going into resolutions, and on June 19 we'll close on those resolutions, and the question in my head is, subsidy is gone, right? And if subsidy is gone, are you ready for the life after subsidy? It means that 511 for us in River State will become a theme. It become the theme, the bomb price, and it also means it will reflect on the prices of almost everything like we currently are experiencing. And if that be the case, do you think the TUC NLC have made the right demands and made the right decision? If you criticize them, and I was going to ask JJ, and if he can call in, I'd like to hear from him. I was going to ask JJ, if you were Joe Ajero, what would you have done? If you were Osifo, what would you have done? Federal government has said, there's nothing we can do. This is our situation. This is where we are. But this is what we can do. We've listened to your demands, and we'll get back to you on it. We would sign an agreement to that. Giving government, do you think even if they sign an agreement, they'll keep to it? These are the issues. But first of all, let's go for the news headline. And then when I come back, I take your calls. I'd like to hear what you've got to say concerning this. Remember, government is working for you. You are the employer of government. So what do you make of it? What do you think? The headline news. Stay tuned. Now we're going to take calls. I got a lot of messages, I should also say. Maybe I should start with the messages. If you're just joining us, we're asking reaching a resolution with the federal government that's talking about organized labor, NLC and TUC. Does it not translate to the statement made by, or a partial, part of the statement made by the president? The subsidy is gone. And if subsidy is gone, are you ready for life after subsidy? And by the way, do you think the labor union or the organized labor union is doing the right thing? I mean, they've made demands. Capture low-income earners in the $800 million loan, increase minimum wage, build road and rail infrastructures. What else again? Build refineries, and there's something I'm forgetting it. The gas conversion program, where we get to substitute petrol for gas to fuel our vehicles and some other things. Do you think these demands are things that will help you get through the era of subsidy removal? On Facebook, Bless Wisdom Anthony say, God bless Nigeria. Baba Saveti Jose says, we are in trouble. The new government will soon collapse this country with their lack of ideas. Let them just, it's a big shame. I have to edit it. So you said, let them just sell the country so we will know that we are on our own. It's a big shame. May God help us. All right, thank you. Tamino Itekena Dagogo says, this is more like Wyclef and Lauryn Hill's Fuji song. Ready or not, here I come. You can hide. I'm going to find you. Whether we like it or not, that dreaded but inevitable day is here, and we are there as well. Mr. Kalada, I dare say that we can never be ready for subsidy removal, but whenever it was going to be removed, we as humans are duty bound to adjust to the new reality. In fact, we would literally create this new reality as we are presently doing with price adjustments on all sides. Samuel Libete, Labour leaders are just using the workers to cash out. Oh, okay, if you say so. But the question I have and I'm asking is, if you were part of the negotiating team for Labour, what would you have asked for? Because it's easier said than done. What would you have asked for? This was there's no such thing as life after subsidy. Stop the sensationalism. The continuation of fuel subsidy is not in the interest of ordinary Nigerians and the economy. The incompetence of the Nigerian leadership over time and the shameless greed of some of the populace are part of the problems we have. If the government-owned refineries were working, we wouldn't be having the constant issue of fuel subsidy. Nigeria has been tied down by greed and corruption. Flat Earth from Port Harcourt. But Flat Earth, if you listen to me earlier, I said I'm in support of subsidy removal, even though I think it's too sudden, and that the refineries, if it's going to work as a result of removal of subsidy, then I support it. So where's the sensation there? But I'm saying, are you ready? Because a lot of people are saying, if you listen to the headline, you'd have heard where someone was saying, we're reacting. We don't want it. We don't want this agreement between Labour and the federal government. But Kala, the subsidy is gone without any immediate relief in return. Why would Nigerians bear the burden of the government's failure to repair the refinery? NLC has disappointed Nigerians again as before. Government might have a hidden agenda to reduce Nigeria's population. All right, no, DK, I can read that. That's very funny, but I can't read it. Let's see. It was really an unfortunate blunder for the government to cut subsidy without making proactive measures to fixing of our nation's defective refineries. I hope the government will listen to the labour union's demands and not to undermine the welfare of the ordinary citizens in order to continue keeping the masses in abject poverty. Jinbo Baraye Karibon Nelson from Ogutown. Let's see more messages. So says, please, can you explain what subsidy really means? I'm going to try. And this one says the Nigerian Labour Congress are more political than the politicians. They are no longer having the interest of the Nigerian citizens at heart, but their own selfish interests. We're watching. Let them continue. Ezekiel Isaiah with that one. I read some more messages, but let's go to the phone lines now. 0817 923 0002. 0817 923 0003. You can use either of the numbers. What are you saying concerning this very conversation? We're live on Facebook, Nigeria Info PH, active on Twitter, Nigeria Info PH, and live on YouTube, Nigeria Info PH. I've got JJ calling me back. JJ, welcome back. Let's talk.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So you were concluding. You were concluding quickly, please.
Yes, conclusion. Now, I think it's like Femi Gbajabiamila have taken the gospel of conversion to gas from Timmy Receiver, our own brother. Now, Canada, why didn't the Labour leaders, both TUC and Labour, ask Gbajabiamila if he's driving the gas converted energy so that we will know how effective it is? Because people have told us this thing, but none of his cars be converted to that one. For the loan to be distributed to who? To who, for goodness sake?
To vulnerable Nigerians.
You said to who?
To vulnerable Nigerians.
See, Canada, we are so funny in this country.
Okay.
Then, Improve rail system. Where do we get the money from? The money we took from China has moved the rail line from Warri to Ibadan. Not to Abuja, not to Port Harcourt. Meanwhile, Port Harcourt saw around that thing and it's gone. So where is the rail line, for goodness sake, now? Now, do we have this system in our budget right now? Here, let's stop this old defeat. I think the Labour were not wise enough to be smart on the government. For me, subsidy is gone. No? All of us like to suffer. All of us will go to the same market and all those put together.
Okay.
But I tell you, this refineries, they told us that we'll start working in December last year. They moved it to December again. Even the Dangote refinery that we are opening on may not come on stream this year.
All right, then. Thank you very much. I've got Obed from Eliozu. Obed, good evening to you. Welcome on the show. Let's talk.
Yeah, good evening, Canada.
Yeah, welcome.
Yes, Canada, let me commend the Labour for actually obeying court order. I think that's what they do there, to obey court order. Unlike our politicians who flagrantly disobey court orders and others, they have to obey the court order until that matter has to resolve from
Obed, I would have to argue with you on that one, because as at this morning, there was the headline on the Punch paper that did say that they were not going to obey the court order, that they had not been served the papers, and so they were not going to obey. But why they called off this? No, I'm going somewhere. Why they called off the strike was because, or is because, they have an agreement with the Gbajabiamila-led federal government negotiating team.
Now, there's no way Labour could have go ahead with that.
Like
strike.
I said, go check online.
No
go check online.
No,
It's there.
No, leave. Maybe they say they were going to. No, it is the law. The law said so.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
And even you cannot be able. You can't support them going for that strike. You understand? I supported that strike. Today, I still stand on that.
Okay.
But you have to obey court order.
Okay.
For Canada, look. Let me look at most of the demand they make. You see, the demand is as if we are in senior class, as if we don't know what is happening, what this country is all about. None of those demands will come to limelight. I must tell you, Canada.
Okay.
None. Yes, because we have had promises over the years. Turnaround maintenance of a refinery over the years. Any of them? Are we able to see any of them? We didn't see anyone. So all those demands, minimum wage and all that. Look, it's not that there's no. They won't see anything. But the only my only soft spot I see for Nigeria right now. You understand? Because it's not going to be easy. Our faith is left in the hands of the marketers, who even when the product is being regulated, they can be able to do anything. Now that the product is no longer regulated, now Nigeria is going to buy products as much as 700 above. Because what we are seeing here, we have not actually entered the main subsidy regime. By the time we enter it properly, I tell you, it's not going to be easy. Because it's not, if anybody is telling you that it is okay like this, no.
All right,
the petrol is going to go more than what we have now.
All right, then. Thank you very much. I've got to let you go. I've got Clinton from Bori. Clinton, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening, Kalada.
You're welcome on the show, Clinton.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right. Yeah, I think 70% of Nigerians agree that subsidy removal is the right call by the president.
Okay.
But I don't agree with the time of removal, because measures have not been put in place to buffer the aftermath effects of the removal. We are just seeing it, the spike in price of petrol products. They said the subsidy is for the rich, and with me, I'm seeing it the other way, because I am affected. I'm not a rich man. I am affected.
Okay.
I cannot buy PMS at 550.
Okay.
The rich can easily afford PMS at 550.
Okay.
So what I think the government should have done is to make our refineries work. At least one of the refineries should work alongside the Dangote refinery. Secondly, those local refineries should be allowed to work. They should license them to work too. So that the prices of goods as well as transportation fares rather will go down, and that will lower the cost of living.
Clinton, can you hear me?
The NLC are going on with their politics again. I think what they are doing is politics. They are not even after the interest of the common man.
All right, then.
Thank you.
I was going to ask you a question, but I guess you can't really hear what I'm trying to say. But I've got Braid calling from Borokuri. Braid, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening, Canada.
Good evening.
Yeah, let us look at this issue. The NLC and TUC has suspended their strike. It's a good one. It would have been a very untold hardship for the people. In as much they have suspended their strike, the federal government should sit them side by side and look at the gray area of the agitation. And also, NLC, TUC is agitating for who is going to agitate for the common man in the street?
That's the question I'm asking.
The Okada driver.
That's the question I'm asking.
The Keke driver. Hello, Canada.
I said that's the question I'm asking. I'm asking that same question, and I'm asking, I'll be ready.
Who is going to agitate for them? So, Femi Bajadi-Amila, who is a National Assembly member, Rep Speaker, and also the Chief of Staff in the making, should also agitate for the common man. Because they are representing the common man there. He was elected from the grassroots. And I'm appealing that they should be able, the federal government should look at the health sector as such that there should be subsidy right now on the health sector for the common man. And also bring out some vehicles that can cushion the transportation of the people.
All right.
I know that Labour cannot get all what they want, but somehow, some certain thing will be given to them.
All right, then.
But let also the common man enjoy the subsidy.
Braid, I've got to let you go.
About 721 billion.
All right. Thank you.
NNPC is denying Nigerian of. Suddenly, Mr. President make a pronunciation. They did not look at the pronunciation the president made. Immediately, they changed their pump price. Why they have taken money for the federal government for subsidy?
All right, Braid, I've got to let you go now at this point, but thank you very much for your rant.
Canada, thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much for your rant. I've got Silvanus from Abba. Silvanus, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening, Canada.
Yeah, thank you for calling. All the way from Abba.
I want to
Welcome.
ask in the first place, what is the citizens of this country benefiting from this country? Why won't government subsidize fuel? Why won't government make fuel cheaper for the citizens? What again are we benefiting?
Silvanus, we've moved from that, conversation. We've moved from no. I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere. I understand.
Labour was supposed to go for the sustenance of this. They say there is corruption in the system.
Yeah.
That big men are benefiting from subsidy.
Yeah.
Then remove the corruption and stop them from benefiting. Make something cheaper for your citizens. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
So if the citizens cannot, this little that we are benefiting, you are now removing it, such that the price is going 200% increase. What do you expect them to do? Isn't everybody that is in civil service?
But Silvanus,
their pay increase.
There's the $800 million for vulnerable people. So maybe the low income earners or the vulnerable people in society, the poor, will get to benefit.
How many persons will benefit from it?
Okay.
Is it not a type of COVID relief?
Yeah.
That they said they use billions to cook for children that were at home.
Yeah, something like that.
Social investment scheme, children that were at home, billions were spent on them. How many persons will directly benefit from this the cushioning effect?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Silvanus. I've got to listen to Victor. He's calling from Rumukrushi. Victor, greetings to you. Welcome on the show. What's on your mind?
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you.
Okay. With the question you asked, from my own point of view, I want to say that there is no best time to remove soil subsidy.
And I agree with you.
Let's stop insinuating all these things. It will not help us. In as much as your guest, your former guest, he makes some mathematics that I like so much. He breaks them down, and I understand where their points were ending on. And at the same time, but we cannot continue like this. There is no best time. Okay, now look at something to tell you that we Nigerians, that we sabotage so many things. Now, this is the same refinery that Dangote is dealing under how many years. But we have about 4 or 3 refineries who are malfunctioning. But if I want to tell you, I have been in refinery, I work in refinery. Man of God, we sabotage almost everything. Nothing is wrong with this place. Some persons just want to stop this place not to work so that they can be benefiting from this so-called subsidy.
All right then.
So I don't see anything. I don't know why we are still insinuating they should build.
All right,
they should build refinery. Have you forgot that there are some persons who don't want this refinery to work?
Okay, Victor, I think your point is noted, but I've got to get to Daniel, who's calling from Transamadi. Daniel, I'm sorry for the long wait.
Good evening.
Yeah, evening. Good evening to you.
Kalada, to answer your question, are we adjusting to the new bro? Are we ready for it? I think for me, we are not ready, but you have to get used to Nigerian system, so anything can happen at any time.
Okay.
Going by the labor union, I have said it, I'm not surprised. They claim they are representing people, but I don't think they are doing so. Because whenever they have this midnight meeting, in the morning you hear very negative news.
But it wasn't a midnight. It wasn't a midnight meeting. I mean, we already knew about this from yesterday.
As far as I'm concerned, there is a point which they are standing from. The government have to revise the OTPA before negotiation.
Okay.
After the midnight meeting, called injunction, the next thing they say they are calling off, giving government some kind of condition. But why wouldn't they allow government to revise back to the original point and do exactly this condition before removing the subsidy? Because as far as I'm concerned, this removal of subsidy does not mean that refinery will work. If refinery have not worked for 24 years of civilian governance, do you think that buying fuel for 600 naira will make refinery to work? Why is the government make it look like we cannot make refinery to work as subsidy is gone? So the only time government will allow refinery to work if subsidy is gone? No, I don't think so. Go and put it right somewhere.
Should we not give them the benefit?
Daniel said.
Daniel, should we not give them the benefit of the doubt? 1, 2. Think about it. We need money to put into the financial strength of the country. So maybe that's why they're removing it.
Kalada, have Nigeria told you that the money is their problem?
So they say.
Rather, the problem have the bad governance and greedy from politicians.
Okay.
It is not about the money. They have the money.
Okay.
But the bad governance, corruption in every institution is the problem why we are where we are today.
Okay.
And that the same corruption we still hold the refinery.
All right.
There will be full importation in Nigeria. It is me, Daniel, is saying it.
Okay,
because
Daniel.
What is simple? How are they going to finance it?
Daniel, I've got to let you go.
Buy fuel for 600 naira for them to continue the importation of criminality.
All right.
They only say that they don't want to be part of sponsoring this criminality. Government say, I will not pay again to sponsor this criminality. The individual should pay. And that is just what they want us to do.
All right, then. Thank you, Daniel. Daniel, thank you very much. I've got Mufasa from NTA Road. Mufasa, good evening to you. What's on your mind?
Hi, Kalada. Good evening.
Yeah, let's talk.
Yes, quick one. Let me say that, no doubt, I'm sure that everybody would agree that it is some subsidy has to go. But for me, I think this government, started on the wrong footing. Now, we are told that subsidy has been provided for, to the ending of June. And now we are paying for something that payment has already been made for. Now, what now happens to those products that we are paying for? That's one. Secondly, money have been, voted for the maintenance of our refineries over the years. And we are told that the subsidy, in fact, is a scam. How come we've not apprehended and start prosecuting the scammers? These are the questions that I was expecting NLC and TUC to ask the government. This money that have been paid, that have been voted for the maintenance of our refineries, turnaround, every time we keep hearing of turnaround, and yet the refineries are not turning around. And trillions of naira have been voted into that, project. People should be arrested. How come nobody has been arrested? We are in this country where they imported fake product, adulterated petrol into this country, and subsidy was paid for that product. Up to this moment, nobody has been arrested. Now they're telling us that they are making provision for the vulnerable Nigerians. Now, do they have data of the actual vulnerable Nigerians? They don't. This same money that have been earmarked for vulnerable Nigerians will find their way into the pocket of the same elite. The aristocrats will still benefit from what they are calling vulnerable Nigerians' money. For me, I do not think they started well. Something has to go, but the product that was subsidized for should be sold to Nigerians at the price of 185 naira.
Thank you very much, Mufasa. I've got to let you go. Thank you very much. A lot of you still talking about the pre-subsidy removal era, but now subsidy, it's looking like it is actually gone. It has said bye-bye. And are you ready for it? Are you prepared? Open season.
Child gets educated is very important to their foundation.